Yesterday, thousands of Shia Muslims marched through Melbourne CBD for a religious procession that started in Treasury Gardens and ended up at Parliament House. But along the way, they stopped, they turned, and they began a religious chant or prayer right in front of St. Patrick's Cathedral, the biggest cathedral in the country. Not near it, not across the road, directly outside the church. Now, you tell me, was this just truly a part of the route, or was there something more to it? Was it a simple stop for prayer, or could it be seen by some as a show of presence, maybe even strength? From where I stood, it definitely raised a lot of questions, and I think everyday Aussies are asking the same ones. Now, let's flip the scenario. What if thousands of Christians walked past a mosque, stopped, faced it, and started worshipping? The media would lose their mind. There would be front page outrage, there would probably be arrests, and followed by protests. And every politician would be bending over backwards to apologise for it.
This reel has been doing the rounds over social media for the past few days. And if you're a Christian watching it with no context, I completely understand why this may raise a few eyebrows. So let's unpack what actually happened. On the 7th of July 2025, the 12th annual Ashura Procession took place in Melbourne CBD. According to organisers, this is a peaceful, pre-approved public event, and they do it to commemorate a significant moment in their faith. Now, I'm not here to defend the Muslim faith, but according to the official flyer, the route was approved by local authorities and began and ended at the Treasury Gardens, and they got all the permits and everything else. Now, they filmed this and the clip went viral, and it shows that part where they stop at St. Pat's Cathedral, and I understand that this raised a lot of questions, especially for Christians. Why are they gathered outside the church? Why did they stop there? And why are some people beating their chests? I'm not here to defend the Muslim community, but I think it's fair, after doing some research, to clear some things up. We reached out to the organisers directly, and here's part of the response that we received. This procession is part of the global commemoration of Ashura, a day of mourning that marks the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. The brief stop outside the St. Patrick's Cathedral was simply a pause to allow participants to catch up and for traffic management. There was no religious or political intent behind stopping at that location. They went on to explain that the beating on the chest scene was actually a traditional practice known as matam, an expression of grief or sorrow over the tragedy of Karbala. This is what they said. It's a personal and spiritual act of mourning, not meant as intimidation. It's observed openly and peacefully in cities around the world, including London, New York, and Sydney. And most importantly, they said Muslims hold Jesus, Prophet Isa, and Mary, Maryam, in the highest regard. They said, we deeply respect all faith communities in Australia and believe in living together in harmony. Look, the footage does seem unusual or even confronting. It certainly made me feel uncomfortable when I watched it. It seemed like the surrounding of the Jewish people in the Old Testament, claiming Jericho as their own, that the walls would fall, and this was a war cry that the cathedral would one day become a mosque. But was it so? I honestly don't believe it was. Let's seek understanding. We're blessed to live in a country where interfaith respect is possible and powerful. The story is a great reminder that context matters and peace comes when we choose curiosity over fear. Let's seek truth, respect, and grace.